guys, we're going to go over how to rebuild a radius rod real quick. Obviously all of our products carry a lifetime warranty, but things like bearings, heims, spacers, stuff like that, that's all going to be a wear item that you can order rebuild kits from us. So basically when you order that, we'll show you everything that's included and show you how to do it real quick. So to do it, you need some pretty basic tools: a pick, a screwdriver, a couple sockets, some snap ring pliers, a hammer, and a vise or a press, whichever one you have access to. So these aren't too bad off yet. These O-rings in here kind of keep the movement to a minimal, but basically once you can start to move these pretty easily by hand, they're starting to get a little worn out, so it's typically time to change them. They should be fairly tight. So the tolerances are pretty tight, so you don't always need the hammer and screwdriver, but if you do have a punch or a screwdriver handy, sometimes these misalignment spacers are a little tricky to get out. So since there are going to be trash anyway, I like to just get down in here and get against the groove of the bottom spacer and just kind of do that and knock it out. I am not interested. If you've got a vise, it works the same. You can use a really big socket for one side and just a normal socket that'll fit in here, the same size as the outer bearing for the other side, and you can squeeze it in a vise to push the bearing out. If you have an arbor press, you can get these pretty cheap at Harbor Freight or Amazon or anywhere. It's better, obviously. Once you've got both the snap rings out, you can push it out either way. The big thing is going to be making sure you're square, so making sure your radius rod is sitting flat on something and making sure whatever socket you use on the bearing is sitting square. And then you just push it out. Once you get the bearing out, go ahead and take some brake clean, or really any kind of degreaser or something, and just kind of clean all this up with a rag real good. Just put a little dab on a rag and just wipe it out real good. Make sure to clean the C-clip ring out really good. If you have an air hose, just blow the groove out really good. Make sure there's no trash in there so everything seats back the right way. The tolerances on this stuff is pretty tight. If you already had bearings in your rods, chances are the bearings will slide in without the grease, but I typically like to just take a little bit of grease and rub on the outside of the bearing race, just to kind of be safe. Before you put the bearing in, go ahead and put one snap ring back in so that you know how far to press the bearing in place. Make sure it's seated all the way. Keep in mind, you're pressing a steel bearing into an aluminum radius rod, so if you get any kind of major resistance, stop and check what you're doing. And make sure you're not forcing this thing past the C-clip. Once you hit the C-clip and it bottoms out, you're done. Because if you push hard enough, you can push that C-clip out of the groove and ruin the radius rod. Not a whole lot of force it takes to do this. And then as soon as I feel resistance, I'm done. If you're unsure, just check it out and take a look. Make sure that your C-clip groove is clear. And then all you do from there is grab your C-clip, put that one in. It should fall right into place like that. Your new O-rings, push those in. And then your new spacers. So obviously this bearing is going to move under pressure, but like you see here, I can't move it by hand now, so that's a brand new, really good tight bearing. So when you do call and order a rebuild kit, this is what it's going to come with. It'll be per rod, so you'll get 4 O-rings, 4 spacers, and 2 bearings, so enough to rebuild one radius rod.